So what is your name again?
Jayson.
Jayson. And where are you from?
Las Vegas, Mesquite, and I grew up in Cedar City, Utah a little bit.
And how did you end up here?
Earlier days was a maid and a lifeguard and a wait train.
Oh, you've done it all.
Yeah. Construction work, factory work.
How long have you been experiencing homelessness for?
9 years. Before homelessness, I did 5 years of AA with 3 relapses, and I am a fighter, and we have pride in our bloodline. So everybody in the world hears this thing about the Bible, God, and Jesus. I think we all owe it to ourselves at least once to find out if he's actually really true before we die, right? To investigate it with our own study. When my whole family passed away, my grandparents, mother, and sisters, I was walking around breathing and dead. And the depression I'd felt my whole life, which I have felt some chronic depression my whole life, off and on.
So do you feel like spirituality and like your belief in God has helped you?
Yes. The greatness of a man is not how he is in times of greatness, because he's always going to smile, but how he is in hardship that shows the worth and the strength of a man. So I don't fight for nobody's beliefs but my own and God's. I don't take sides with cops, security guards, homeless, or people getting along good with the community civilly. I don't take sides with anybody. I take sides with what I think God wants me to do. And we've had the 2-year Rio Grande, what do they call it? Operation Rio Grande.
Operation Rio Grande?
Yes.
Can you speak just for another second about that, or tell us what it is?
The mayor came out here, stayed for a few days. I heard he was scared for his life. I've always been able, kind of in a certain strange way, handle a lot of people through energy, but being known in the street, getting the respect of absolutely not being a snitch ever, you know, unless it's a rape or a murder. Hands down, I won't tolerate that, and the homeless people agree with that. And there's unwritten street rules. A man don't hit a woman, or he gets jumped. That's the only time a man's allowed to get jumped is if he hits a woman. Otherwise, if a man's getting jumped, stop it. You're going to go out in the street without weapons, fight one-on-one like a man, and keep your friends and everybody out of it. And I've created stuff like that because in this type of environment, education and mentality and emotion don't run at the same level.
What would you say are the hardest parts or biggest barriers to being homeless?
The way that people steal from each other that are around you. Storage, cleanliness. People just need love and hope to get back in the world. You can lose everything, but like my daughter brought me home. One person, I was walking around dead, and I was going to kill myself on the same day I got a miracle phone call. And that's something I'd like to share with you now, if it's okay. One day I woke up and I decided that I did a lot of good things in the street, that I was going to kill myself and God would give me a piece of heaven anyway. That I tie up with him on the other end. And I was just going to do it. And it was getting close to the hour that I was going to hang myself in the doorway, and I was staring at a scarf in the doorway actually when the phone rang. And I knew it was a strange call, and I went to it and I answered it. And I went, hello? And on the other end was a young girl crying. She said her name was Cassie, and she didn't say anything else. And I was like, yeah, and she just sat there sniveling. And I said, do you have a mother named Melissa Jones? And she said, yeah. And I said, you're my daughter, aren't you? And yeah, I am. And I said, where you at? Where you been, little girl? I've been looking for you my whole life. She said, yeah, you have? And I said, yeah. I don't know what you've been told, but yes, I have. And so we had a wonderful 5 weeks together. The strange thing about it was I yelled at this guy twice at God about letting Satan take everything from you. I costed myself a lot of stuff, but a lot of jealous men have taken things from me. So I'm yelling in the sky at the top of my lungs, and State Street, Main Street, 500 people listening. 5 weeks later, I lost contact with her. She's a homecoming queen with scholarships. She made me feel like living again. I want to go back and sell solar and help her go to college. She had 2 falls to get a residency, and she started college in Southern Utah. And this guy one night takes me to buy a burger, and he tells me he owns his own movie show. And at this time I'd lost contact with Cassie. He lost his son to heroin 2 years before this, and it's a local program that he was talking about. And I was just listening to him, and I didn't really care about his fame or his materialistic stuff. A year passes, and I'm walking down the sidewalk thinking about my daughter one day, and I see a news truck, and I go up to the news guy, and I think to myself, why didn't you think of that a year ago, dummy? Well, this is why. I tell the news guy my story that I shared with you guys about that night, and when I'm done talking, he says, the guy's name's Dan, the name of the show's Lensworks, and my wife is his assistant. And then he gives me something like Cassie. Somebody is like, she's just tearing up the world. Like, the whole football team wants her, everybody wants to be her best friend. She's not just beautiful, she's outrageous, you know. So I've always believed the time God keeps putting me in certain situations at certain times, like with the fighting and bad things in the street and stuff, and I'm like, I want to retire now, God.
I want to clock out. And where's Cassie now? Are you guys in touch right now?
So I'm not going to get in touch with her until I get to the next level.
Any last things you want to add, talk about?
Don't ever try to judge anybody rich. Don't ever try to judge anybody poor. And the most simplest thing in the world is the most important thing in the world. This stands above everything of genius, governmental, scientific, all of it. It all boils down to one thing. When two people are together and nobody else in the world's watching, and one man has something and the other man has nothing, what's that man going to act like in that moment when he's asked by the poor man, sir, do you have something? That's going to show that man's true heart and true spirit, because nobody's around to watch. 3 people are going to be watching, them 2 and God, because people have made me cry by not looking at me or answering me, and treat me like I didn't belong in the world more just because I fell into homelessness. You know, people need to understand that it's a serious mental, emotional epidemic. It's a bloodline. You know, a lot of people, their family line is involved. A lot of people fall in this world, but they're constantly rebounded by their family. A lot of homeless people don't have that kind of situation. So, just try to love everybody and love your God. Tell God you love him every night before you go to bed, and ask him to come into your life, and ask for you to try to come into his more, and you'll get there. I never started until I was 34. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. Love everybody, and have a great day.